All right, those are pretty damning words about the body in which both of you serve.
Hello, Elizabeth. Yeah, I mean, the dysfunction here in Washington, D.C. is profound. And I appreciate Senator Sinema, standing firm and maintaining the Senate filibuster, which means you need a larger than mere majority to pass things of significance. I think that's a good idea for America. And unfortunately, if Democrats get control of the House, the Senate, and the White House, they'll get rid of that filibuster and then in terms of what's going to happen to this country.
Yeah, but what do you mean by, you say it's profoundly dysfunctional? I don't need to tell you that many Americans are profoundly frustrated with Congress and its lack of action, especially the House, which I know you don't serve in, but it's Congress.
Well, listen, I come from the private sector. And in the private sector, most successful organizations have a vision statement, they have a mission statement, they establish goals. The people that are in that organization understand what their roles are in terms of achieving that mission, these goals. That's not what Congress is. I mean, Congress is grotesquely dysfunctional. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that so very few bureaucrats, staff members, and even members of Congress have no experience in, which means very little knowledge of, and of course no sympathy for the private sector. Plus, they've never even served or worked in a functioning organization. They view this as normal. Yeah. I think this is an alternate universe here, and I think it shows in terms of dysfunction. Here we are, about halfway through the fiscal year. We haven't even funded it. This shouldn't be that hard. This isn't rocket science. We spend way too much money, but we could at least have a functioning process for funding the government.
All right. Well, Senator Sinema is no doubt feeling stung that after she worked closely with other senators, especially like conservative Senator James Lankford, for months on what was seen as the most conservative border bill in decades, never got a vote. After former President Trump urged Republicans not to support it, the bill was endorsed by the Border Patrol Union, whose members are out there every day doing their best. Tell me why you're against that bill.
The problem with that bill, it was worse than doing nothing. The president has the authority to secure the border. Trump used it. Biden used that same authority to open up the border. He could use that authority to close it. Now, it's been weakened over time through certain court decisions. Nobody on our side was looking for an immigration bill. That bill actually limited a future president's authority, while it also codified an awful lot of President Biden's open border policy. It would normalize thousands of immigrants a day. So again, the bill was worse than doing nothing. And what Democrats were, by and large, negotiating for wasn't to secure the border. They were looking for a political cover. And unfortunately, Leader McConnell, who negotiated the bill, Senator Murphy said he wrote it, or his staff wrote it, gave them that political cover. So Trump had nothing to do with that thing being killed. It killed itself. It was such an awful bill.
Nikki Haley called Donald Trump, quote, completely unhinged for opposing the border deal, and said, quote, we cannot wait one more day to secure that border. We've got to start now. Is she wrong?
Yes, because Nikki Haley obviously doesn't understand how bad that bill was. This wasn't talked about enough, but the 5,000 person per day threshold that made closing the border mandatory, no longer processing asylum claims. The nasty provision was at 4,000. It was discretionary, which would imply and codify the fact that the president already doesn't have the authority. The president has that authority, and then even worse, that authority to stop processing asylum claims would only last for 3 years. That's why the bill was worse than doing nothing. It actually weakened the president's authority. I can't believe the negotiators didn't understand that about their own bill.
You objected to the $60 billion in aid to Ukraine that was passed recently in the Senate. You said in an interview with Real America's Voice that Putin is a war criminal, but you also said Putin won't lose. He is not going to lose. Aren't you helping ensure Putin wins by refusing to help the country he invaded?
I think it's time that policymakers here in Washington, D.C. start recognizing reality. Schumer came out of the White House meeting and said, it's simple, $60 billion and Ukraine wins. You don't give them the $60 billion, they lose. How are they going to win? Right now, we are in a 2-year bloody stalemate. And I think you really need to start questioning, should we throw another $60 billion to fuel the flames of bloody stalemate? Because every day that goes by, more Ukrainians die, more Russian conscripts die, more of Ukraine gets destroyed. If you're concerned about the Ukrainian people, you ought to be concerned about that as well. So we have no strategy to win. The administration is not laying it out. If we're going to support Ukraine, it ought to be in a way that's going to bring Putin to the negotiating table so this war can end. I'm not hearing that at all. I'm hearing that President Biden hasn't even spoken to Russia on this, and I would be very interested to know what happened in Istanbul shortly after the war started, when Boris Johnson, basically on the behalf of the Biden administration, scuttled any kind of peace agreement. So we do need to do a complete reevaluation of this, and right now it is true we should secure our own border before we send $60 billion down a rat hole to secure some other nations.
But to be clear, you don't want Putin to win in Ukraine, do you?
Of course not. Nobody does. I don't think he's going to has that capability. We have thwarted him, and right now Putin's got to be taking a look at this. This is not a particularly good success either. So there ought to be incentives on both sides to end this bloody stalemate. Our policy ought to be to reduce tensions in the world, to end this war, not fuel the flames of a bloody stalemate.
All right, Senator Ron Johnson, 10 seconds. Are you going to win the speakership in the Senate, or are you going to stay out of that little tussle for power?
I'm looking at a process to determine what our mission is, and hopefully leaders will emerge from that process.
Okay. I think that was a non-answer. Very diplomatic of you, sir. Thanks so much for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.